How's it going, everybody? This is Delightful Eon here. I wanted to read a passage from Nietzsche, more specifically the infamous God is Dead passage. I think it's a really interesting probe into what Nietzsche thought about God, and I'll do an analysis once I'm done reading the passage. Have you ever heard of the madman who on a bright morning lighted a lantern and ran to the marketplace calling out unceasingly, "I seek God, I seek God," as there were many people standing about who did not believe in God? He caused a great deal of amusement. "Why, is he lost?" said one. "Has he strayed away like a child?" said another. "Or does he keep to himself? Is he afraid of us? Has he taken a sea voyage? Has he emigrated?" The people cried out laughingly, all in a hubbub. The insane man jumped into their midst and transfixed them with his glances. "Where is God gone?" he called out. "I mean to tell you, we have killed him, you and I. We are all his murderers. But how have we done it? How were we able to drink up the sea? Who gave us the sponge to wipe away the whole horizon? What did we do when we loosened this earth from its sun? Whither does it move now? Whither do we move now, away from all suns? Do we not dash on unceasingly, backwards, sideways, forwards, in all directions? Is there still an above and below? Do we not stray as though through an infinite nothingness? Does not empty space breathe upon us? Has it not become colder? Does not light come on continually, darker and darker? Shall we not have to light lanterns in the morning? Do we not hear the noise of the grave diggers who are burying God? Do we not smell the divine putrefaction? For even gods putrefy. God is dead. God remains dead, and we have killed him. How shall we console ourselves, the most murderous of all murderers? The holiest and the mightiest that the world has hitherto possessed has bled to death under our knives. Who will wipe away this blood from us? With what water could we cleanse ourselves? What lustrums, what sacred games shall we have to devise? Is not the magnitude of this deed too great for us? Shall we not ourselves have to become gods merely to seem worthy of it? So I think that passage is really interesting for a couple reasons. I think really what this passage actually outlines is Nietzsche's true thoughts on God. I think Nietzsche thought it was... and this really outlines his broader philosophy, in my view. Nietzsche thought that God dying was sort of a tragedy for humanity in a way, that it was what kept us connected to the world, and now it's as if we're floating through an infinite nothing. Now it's as if there really is no hope, there really is no purpose, because without being tied to that sort of divine or eternal framework, really what's the point? And this this paragraph perfectly sums up nihilism, the desire to become a god, the kind of existentialist kind of buildup that's necessary to overcome this. Like, this paragraph is really beautiful in summarizing what Nietzsche really believed and really why he thought the way he did. And I have a similar kind of thought process myself. I've struggled with this question a lot. Is there a God? Is there not a God? I think it really is the biggest question that humans could ask. Is there meaning behind all this, or is it just some random generation of possible states? I mean, we really still don't know. I have my own personal belief, but I'll cover that in a different video. But this really highlights everything that Nietzsche stood for and everything that he believed. The fact that in this part right here, this is one of my favorite parts. He says, "The holiest and the mightiest that the world has hitherto possessed has bled to death under our knives. Who will wipe away this blood from us? With what water could we cleanse ourselves?" And I think right there what he's saying is basically like, we've committed an act so great we don't even understand its implications, right? We've gotten rid of God from the society, in a sense, where a lot of people no longer believe, but then you really enter this landscape of, well, really, what's the point? I mean, you can play the game of, well, we can just enjoy our own lives, and that in and of itself is, that's enough. But really, it's really not enough. I mean, eventually you ask the eternal questions. Eventually you have to probe into the depths, and that's going to lead you to question, is there a creator or not? Is there meaning behind all this? And now that we've kind of abandoned God, and as Nietzsche says, we have to kind of become gods even to seem worthy of it anymore. We have to become the higher man, the person who can create meaning through themselves. Very difficult to do. I think Nietzsche implied that it would take many generations in order to reach that final state. But I thought this paragraph was really, it really highlights the thought process of Nietzsche and what he was trying to build in his philosophy, this kind of resilience, this ability to, even though you're in a landscape without a God anymore, or without maybe a belief in a God anymore, you're still able to go throughout your day and, progress as an individual. You're still able to try to build that internal fire capable of, sustaining itself. So I always thought this was a really interesting paragraph. And I think it really highlights what Nietzsche was, and he was truly a philosopher in the deepest sense. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you like this kind of stuff.